everybody. We're so excited. We're going to have some real fun today. We're going to talk about serious stuff, but we're going to talk a little silly today too, because we got a funny movie out, but the movie has a point. But we have one of the stars of the show, Gigi Orsillo. She's been an actress for a long time. She's coming from Colorado Springs, Colorado. So welcome, Gigi. It's so good to have you.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Beth.
I love talking to actresses because, you know, I'm sure you know Cameron Arnett.
Yes.
He taught me, you know, he reminded me that we're all actors, you know, because sometimes we go into the world as Christ's representative and we might not be having the best day, but still we got to go out there and be the best version of ourselves. So,
right.
You know, there's a lot we can learn from one another when it means going out and being your best you to the world. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love Cam Arnett. He's got some good wisdom.
He does. So you've been acting for a long time. You were on film. I think it said you were a toddler baby, two years old, started in
yes.
impressive commercials and TV shows and movies. Your parents were production. So you're on the set. I mean, you grew up.
Yes. I was kind of the kid that they could throw in stuff, you know, for keep for late hours. So, but yeah, I grew up on set and that was kind of home to me. And it still feels like home to me to be on set, to just be around production. It has a special place in my heart. So
I bet. So you obviously had a strong upbringing, a good family support system, because you ended up at ORU.
Yes.
It takes a really faithful person, someone who's really committed to learning what God has for their life, to make that kind of commitment and to go that route. So tell me what God was doing in your heart to send you in that route, because that's a pretty big, bold move that I'm impressed with.
Well, ORU was a great time in my life. I cannot say enough good things about being there. The people who are there are just amazing. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to go. It was in my hometown, which was quite nice.
Yeah.
But I saw the people and the quality of teachers that were there. And of course they just, point everybody towards Jesus. So I had such a great experience at ORU, and it really did send me, their slogan is to send you out into the world. And I really believe that I was sent out from ORU. So.
Well, I think that's incredible, because I think people struggle with where they're sent to. And we're going to talk about that a little bit when we talk about the character you play in Family Camp with Victoria. But you went, so you're married, you have 3 kids.
Yes.
Very appreciative of the fact that you took some time off to be home with your kids. I was raised by a single mom who had 2 jobs. Thank God she had 2 jobs.
Yeah.
I think when you can invest that time in your kids, it's really great. So let's talk about that season in your life and what God was doing through that, the whole family thing.
Yeah, I was acting in LA, and when you're there, it takes a while to kind of get momentum there and get a good agent and everything. And things kind of felt like, oh man, I'm gaining momentum. But truly, my heart was just, I want to be a mom. And at that point, I really felt called to just kind of lay it down and say, I want to focus my time and my energy on being a mom. And so, yeah, I have 3 little girls that are now not little girls. They're almost 10, 12, and 14. And I do part-time homeschool them. So we get a lot of time together, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful that I get to be one of the biggest influences in their life. And I just love them to pieces. And it was so worth, giving it to God. And when I did give it to God and say, okay, I'm going to give this to you, and will you give it back to me? I don't know. I hope that you do. I really feel called to this. But if you don't, I know you have something else for me that isn't production, and something else that you will birth inside of my heart that will be amazing. So, I think I kind of felt like, oh, you have to choose one thing or the other. You have to choose this dream, or you have to choose this dream, motherhood or acting. And it's been really sweet to see that those can be combined. Yeah. And that when you become a mom, you don't lose all of your giftings and your callings, and you're still, moving in those things and in those gifts. And so, yeah, about 3.5 years ago, I jumped back in and really felt a peace to pursue it. And now that my girls are older, and it just kind of works and kind of fits. And so I'm so thankful for the doors that God has opened for me. And family camp's one of them.
And so how are you navigating this raising kids, Christian kids, in a non-Christian? I mean, in Colorado Springs is probably, you're surrounded by a lot of good Christian environments and churches. There's a lot of good things going on out there. But
yeah,
I know you like to point people to Jesus no matter what you're doing. How are you doing that in your home as you're navigating your kids through these teenage, preteen years? Because that takes a delicate balance of understanding we're in the world but not of the world. So
yes,
how are you helping them navigate that?
I think it's just always reminding them where their foundation lies, right? Because if you have a strong foundation, if you have a faith that's rooted in the word, in Jesus Christ, you won't be shaken. And so, I was talking to a friend today about just the influence of media on our kids, and how easy it is. Even, my girls aren't on social media, but they are still, sometimes people send them a little video of this, or, they're still impacted by it, right? They have the TV shows, and they see the stars and what they wear and what they do and how they act. And it's, I just want them to know that they are called to a higher standard, first of all, and that they don't have to live up to whatever media and society says that they have to live up to, and that they find their worth, they find their self-worth in who God says that they are. Yeah. So,
and that's important, being in the film industry, because you see it up front and close. And I guess you have the inside bird's eye view where you can say it's not what it all looks like,
right.
Because it's not what it all looks like, and so I think that gives you the proper perspective to balance it out. But it is tough to raise kids and preteens through the social media age with so much influence. But
yeah,
so the homeschool thing, I think that's I've seen more and more people go into that route. So that helps you keep them close to you with less just explosion of craziness in their life by being in a public school setting, with that just being crazy right now, right?
Yeah, I'm so thankful for that I have that opportunity to be able to do that. And then they go to a part-time Christian, kind of, it's both, it's homeschool and school, which is great. It's a great balance for us. And so I'm really thankful that, not necessarily that I'm sheltering them, but just protecting them. Like, kids grow up so fast today. And so I love that their innocence is protected. Yeah. And I look at my 12-year-old out playing with stuffed animals in the yard with her little sister, and I just go, 12-year-olds in the world don't do this, and I'm just so thankful to God that their innocence has been protected like that. So
that's so true. And I think you have to be very intentional about that. And I think you have to look at the bigger world, but yet plan a day-by-day plan to protect them. I'm a big believer that, we live a life on purpose, but you have to protect your path every day. And as parents, you have to protect their path every day, because there's nobody else going to protect them, and nobody else going to protect you other than the Lord himself submitted to him. So that's really good. So let's jump into family camp, because it's a funny movie. I'm very aware of the Skit guys, because they've been doing a lot of things, and this is their first movie, and you've been in a lot of movies, but this is funny, and it's families that end up at family camp. I mean, just
two very different families that are stuck in a yurt together, and how they deal with all of the family dynamics, that come into that. And there's one family that's struggling to connect and find time to really know what really matters. The dad is really struggling with kind of seeking after the promotion, and his time is very distracted. His mind is distracted, and his wife wants him to, reconnect with their family. And then you have this other family, my family, the Sanders, and they are just inauthentically connected. Everyone thinks that they have this perfect life, and that they're all this connected, cute family, and really things are just falling apart. And so I really am honored to play this character, Victoria, who is struggling to let down her guard and let down. One of the lines that I say is, things get a little more complicated when you get a peek behind the curtain, because a lot of times as women, we kind of have this curtain of, oh, my life is good, my life is fine, here's a picture of my family smiling, and a lot of things aren't right in our hearts, and we're hurting and we're struggling in our marriages or our relationships with our kids or whatever it is, because everybody's battling something, right? So yeah, I've been really honored to play this woman and to see how she connects with audiences, and how many women out there feel the way that Victoria feels in their marriage, just kind of silenced, and that their voice doesn't really matter. And so, yeah, I've really enjoyed being able to talk to women about that.
Well, and I haven't seen the film yet, but we know that this happens,
Yeah.
It's been in my life, and I'm sure there's seasons in your life where you feel disconnected. There's nothing worse than being surrounded by people, but feeling completely alone.
Yes.
And, when you're not known completely by someone, and kids are the same way. And does anybody really know me? Does anybody really hear me? That's a big question.
Yes.
And I think that we see a lot of that. And as a coach, one of the key things I teach people is, well, have you talked about that? Have you gone home and talked about that? And almost everybody says no. Well, we've kind of talked about it. Well, so, that's one of the things that I think needs to happen, is that we need to create environments, and like family camp will do that, where people go, which family are we? Let's just start with that. What family are we?
Yes.
And okay, so what character are you in that family? Let's talk about that. That gives people a great starting point for a great conversation, because everybody has something that they want to see better in their life. Most people just don't know how to give a name to that and give a voice to that. So how does Victoria learn to deal with all those pretty pictures and, okay, I'm going to keep everything looking all good, to, okay, here's who I really am. And how does she build a bridge between those two?
So I think she finally lets down her guard, and the act of vulnerability, just letting it out, like you said, talking to someone. A lot of times as women, we hold it all in, because we think, well, they're gonna think I'm less than because I'm not perfect, because my story is ugly. And that's not true. Every time that I have followed the Holy Spirit's prompting to say, tell your story to this girl, God has blessed that by her coming back and saying, I'm in the same boat. I have those same issues, or whatever it is. So I know that when, as women, we are vulnerable, it's God blesses that. God meets you there in that. And so I think after she is able to be vulnerable, she realizes that it's not just, you can't just point to somebody and say, you need to change. She says the change starts with me. I have to have my voice back. I have to ask for it. I have to say what I need. And first of all, I think as women, we have to get our needs met from the Lord first, and not just be looking to our husband to meet our needs. Right. But in marriage, that's all part of it, right? Coming alongside each other. And so I think, she just finally is able to speak up and say what she needs. So.
And that's a big step. And one of the things, you're an actress, you play a lot of roles, but I think women and certainly men too, but I'm a woman, you're a woman. I think we get lost in our roles, and, I was just just with a friend earlier, and we were kind of talking about a situation, and I'm like, okay, you have an idea to who you are. Okay, yeah, your mama, yeah, your wife, yeah, your friend, your worker, you've got all these things, but who you are. And I think that's where we lose what the Lord has for us is in
Yes.
this, because we, we get, we're caught up in our marriage, and that's a good thing, but then we become empty nesters, the kids are gone, and everything changes, and you have to find who you are, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I find myself saying to women a lot, the stronger you are, the more sure you are of who you are, the stronger your path will be, and the more powerful your purpose becomes. Because I'm Beth. Yeah, I'm a wife. You're Gigi. Yeah, you're an actress. You're a wife. You're a mom. But you have a person who is a complete person in Christ. And I do think women lose that. Have you found that to be true?
Definitely. And I think we do it unintentionally, but we also think that this is what's best for everybody, right? I'm going to be mom. I'm going to lose myself because I'm serving everyone else. But we almost find like a satisfaction of doing that, of just being the servant, right? And so, or just being, the perfect wife or the perfect mom. And so I think that, we have to look to the Lord for our identity and our strength and who we are, and for Him to fill us up, so that then we can walk in confidence and say, this is who I am, and I can be all these things. And, I don't have to be everything to everybody, but this is who I am in Christ.
But we also have to take that identity and act upon it. Like, you take on a role, you become Victoria, you may be Gigi, but you become her because you're playing the role and you've learned the skills. You have a lot of education to in your craft to become great at what you do. But we also have to know who we are and then act upon that. So in other words, people may say, how are you so confident? Well, I'm not confident, but I do things that require confidence, and then I feel good about them.
Yeah.
Or I learn from them.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes we're waiting on that feeling or that moment. But, it's kind of like you stepping up to behind a camera and you become Victoria. We have to step out every day and become the child of God, the woman who's powered by purpose. And I think we have to remember that's on us. It's like my pastor says, God renews our heart, but the mind we have to do. So I think that's an important understanding, is that we all have to, I'm not saying fake it, but put on who we are, the character that we play, child of God, because rarely are we going to feel like that. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying?
I do. Yes. Yeah.
And so
I think that's so good, Beth. I mean, because we are transformed by the renewing of our mind. And so, there's no change without the renewing of our mind. Yeah.
That's so true. Well, and I think that's important. So let's talk about purpose, and then we're going to go back to family camp.
Okay.
So living a life on purpose, that's my thing. That's my whole thing.
Yeah.
God made everybody for a purpose. What do you tell people if they're struggling with that topic?
For me, I think we do all have purpose. We all are created for a reason. We each, no matter if you are a home, a mom at home, or if you're in the workplace, or you're an actress on set, every single day we have purpose. And if we ask the Holy Spirit to reveal to us what that purpose is on a daily basis, and we are quick to listen to His voice when He asks us to step out, when He says, here is your purpose for today. It's to smile at that person. Here's your purpose for today. It's to be kind to that annoying person in the carpool lane, and sometimes it's really simple, and sometimes it's really big and bold to actually ask someone, what does your faith look like? And so I think that, you know, purpose, sometimes people think like, well, my purpose has to be this big flashy thing.
Right.
And it's really not. It's just about daily obedience and listening to his voice and being obedient to when he tells you to go over this way or to say this thing. And so to me, I think it's hard because people kind of go, well, you know, I'm just this. And so what purpose do I have? And I would say God has purpose in everyone's daily life, no matter what whatever journey you're walking, whatever role you're playing. So
I agree with that. And I do think there's what you said is so key, you know, ask the Holy Spirit, you know, and today, because we do tend to think about, you know, 5 years from now, 5 days from now, but our greatest opportunity may be today. It may be with that divine appointment with somebody, and it may be, you know, something small. And he even says, if you're faithful in the little things, you'll be great at the big things, and you'll be blessed with the big things. So little things matter, and they lead to big things. So that's really good. So the movie is out right now.
Yes, it is.
And you're
see it.
Yes. And you're Victoria. You're one of the moms, and you're one of the wives that goes. There's 2 families that go to family camp, and you're one of the wives. And so what can people expect when they watch the movie?
Well, they can expect to laugh. It is fun and funny and safe to bring your kids, to bring your mom, to bring whoever you want to bring. It is safe, which is so awesome.
Yes.
Because
and
the ratings,
we need to laugh.
Don't we? Laughter is good for the soul. It is good medicine. So, I mean, I think, and the Skit guys like to say, laughter is what breaks down the walls for truth to enter. When you can get somebody to laugh, you can kind of get them to open up and be more receptive to the truth that you hit them with that says, hey, you need to look at your life here. And so there are definitely moments that are truth bombs, that are, they say humor, heart, and him. And there's humor, you will laugh, laugh, laugh. And there are things that will touch your heart and that you will just tear up, and then you get pointed to the Father. And so how awesome to have these movies that actually do have a conversation starter. So when you get in the car at the end of the movie, you can look to each other and say, let's talk about it. Let's, you know, who do you see yourself as there? How can we do better? And there's been a lot of stories of especially men coming out and saying, I want to do better. I want to be better for my family. I want to make different choices. And that's really, really beautiful. I mean, I was coming out of one of the premieres, and this guy, it was just a local premiere, you know, at a theater that somebody who had just walked in because he had an unlimited pass to the theater and he could see as many movies as he wanted to. And he was standing over in the corner crying on the phone. And you know, I kind of noticed him, but then he asked, like, wait, you're that girl. Are you the girl of the movie? And I kind of laughed because I thought he was one of my friends, you know, with one of my friends. And I said, how did you even find out about this movie? He said, I'm just on an unlimited pass. And I knew it had touched his heart. I mean, he was just standing there like, I can't believe that was a faith-based movie, and it was so good, and it touched my heart so much. And I'm going, that's so cool that there are people who don't even know what they're walking into, and they walk in and the laughter just, you know, pulls them in. And then there's this beautiful message that's told. And so that's really just really exciting. And there's really not that many faith-based films that come to the theater. Yeah. So it's really fun to have a comedy that everybody can go and have a good time.
Well, at the end of any day, we all just really want to have a happy family.
Yeah.
We all really want to have a happy home and, you know, love in our home. And I think with a movie like this, it doesn't make it look like, oh, I'll never get to be that. I mean, look at that perfect family, you know.
Right.
It gives all comedy is based in some level of truth. All real good comedy is based in some level of truth. And I think with this movie, it touches on what real families deal with every day. And it helps them walk through it and find the Lord. So how do they come back and find the Lord in the movie? I don't want you to give up any spoiler alerts, but I mean, it ends well. I mean, it's good for them to be at family camp.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, the main storyline is that the guys get lost in the woods, and so while they're lost in the woods, you know, when you're put into a pressure cooker, a lot of times those are good moments to go, what is going on in my life? What is important in my life? And even to go, why am I feeling this way? And so there are those things that are brought up between the men that make them kind of re-examine what they want in their life. And so yeah, I some people have said like, oh, well, it's not like the salvation message, but for me, it's the beauty of marriages being changed. I mean, that is beautiful to know that like a story, somebody's story could literally change because they have a conversation based around going to a movie, you know?
Yeah. Well, and you know, we've come out of a pandemic, you know, we've all had our crisis moments. We've come out of, you know, whole environments and just a mess in so many places that I think we have to be intentional and say, do I have time for a movie? Well, you know what? I'm going to make time for this one because it would be a good investment for my family. It would be a good topic for us to have. So I think that for people to actually go see it in and of itself is a step towards a happier, healthier home, right?
Yes, 100%. And the thing is that it's the butterfly effect of buying a ticket to a faith-based film. Yeah. I mean, you not only are going to have a great time with your family, but you're saying to the studios, we want to see these films. Yeah. And the more people that come this week and this weekend, we'll get another week to be able to be in the theaters and to have more people come and see it. And then, you know, if it does well, they're going to want to make another one, and just another opportunity to be able to have a message in the theater where people walk in and their lives are changed. And so I really, truly believe in the power of like going and sitting and seeing a movie and seeing these lives and the impact that makes on a soul. Like, yeah, I know that my girls, I mean, one of the things that I'm really excited about is kids who love the movie. I mean, like teenagers and middle schoolers and little kids, they think it's so fun, and truly they're being transformed. They're seeing, I want to be a husband that listens to his wife. I want to be a husband who puts down his phone, you know? And so they're actually listening to the messages while they're having fun. And so hopefully, you know, this movie will live on and it'll become people's favorite movie. You know, these kids will watch it over and over again, and those messages will get rooted into their hearts and into their character. So that's an exciting thing.
They can have fun doing it. And that's all the more fun, right?
Yeah.
So people can find it at, if they wanted to go see it tonight, they can go to Family Camp Movie.
Yes, familycampmovie.com/tickets. Okay. Or you can just go on Fandango. I mean, Fandango will have, you know, your local theater where it's playing, and it's playing all over. And we just got word that we will be in 200 more theaters at the end of the week. So even more people will be able to see it. So that's really exciting.
That is so exciting. I love seeing people do quality Christian-based things, and I think a lot more of it. And hats off to you for being a part of it, and for them for doing this, because we need more of this. It's good for all of us. So I hope people will go see it, and I definitely will do that myself. So
thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story. Best of luck as the movie continues to be successful and people go see it. And, good luck with all your family and everything as you raise your kids.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll come back and talk about this later when you're on family camp too.
Yeah. All right. It was a joy to talk to you. Thank you so much for having me on.
You too. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.